it's the same thing with any level in your head. It really is in your head, right? It really is like from a billionaire to a millionaire to somebody with 1,000. It's just a number that you set, right? Right now, my number is $5.6 billion. I don't know why I chose that number. That just seems like a number that I need to be able to make in revenue per year. Right?
Hello, everyone. It's Jamar Denzel here from the Let's Get Real podcast, and it's season 2. I'm so happy to be here, and it's looking great. I feel great. We in a brand new studio space here at Studio Space DMV. We are inside the beige room, if you guys remember from the last episode of last season, and it's looking sweet. Studio Space is always progressive. Make sure you guys check them out. They're in Alexandria, Virginia. They have their own website. They're also located on pitchspace.com. But we're going to get right into the show today. Today's show is kind of special because of the person that we're interviewing, the first person of the next new season, which I always feel like a new season of the show is a new season of me. You know, so you guys gonna see everything's changing. We're all here for growth. But so this person here today, not only is he a visionary, he's a brother to me. His name is Will McCoy, and he's gone from being in the tech, electrical field, real estate, CrossFit, so many things ever since I met him, to now being part of this cultural movement that he's creating, and we're going to talk about that a little later. But he's from Southeast DC, just like me, and he grew up from the mud to working on multi-million-dollar companies. So we're going to discuss those things today and learn his progression in life and who he is. And yeah, what's up, Will?
What's up, Jamal? What's up? I appreciate it.
Let's get a drink in real quick, my guy. We got
yeah.
Get a quick sip.
Ironclad.
Ironclad from Ironclad, and we just got it. It's actually really nice. It's a small B&B located in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and it's like really sweet. So, how's it, man? You on the show finally? You back here in DC?
I know.
My man was out there and working on these electric car chargers for a while.
Yep, in Michigan.
Michigan,
and now I'm back in DC.
And how's the space looking?
This space is beautiful. He told me don't talk earlier until he got his intro out, but this is a beautiful space, right? I love this space.
Yeah, Will was there when we was first located in Bethesda, Maryland.
Yes.
And the whole space was about the size of this room.
Yes, it was.
The whole entire space was the size of this room.
But now, started from the bottom, now you're here. You know what I mean? This is a beautiful space. A few different rooms. Each one of them set up differently. So I love the space. It's official.
I appreciate it,
official tissue.
So I'm just going to jump right into it. We like to start with an icebreaker here. And so my icebreaker for today is going to be, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, dead or alive, who would it be, why, and where would you take them?
Oh, okay. Man, everybody always says who would it be and why, but where would you take them?
Yeah.
All right. So this one's easy. I say the same one because he meant a lot to me. It'll be Barack Obama.
Barack? Okay.
Barack Obama.
No, okay.
Yeah.
No Malcolm X?
No, not Malcolm X. I didn't grow up doing Malcolm or Martin, right? They were before my time.
Okay.
We learned about them in history, right? And I respect everything they do. And I'm probably a combination of Malcolm and Martin, right? But I grew up and I was aware enough and I was an adult enough to understand the implications of Barack Obama. And what he did for 8 years and what he continues to do even now, right? Just, really insulates me in my idea of like, he's the type of historical figure that I would want to invite to dinner and pick his mind. Mainly because there's a lot of stereotypes that are said about Black men, right? And about the Black family in general, and even about Black women. And Michelle and Barack shattered all those things from we got bad credit to we don't know how to handle things financially to we cheat on our wives, we don't respect our husbands, we don't understand how to be a certain type of person in public. He just shattered those things. And since that time period, the United States has been really under duress. A certain demographic has been under duress because it really shattered all the stereotypes that they had about us. And since that time, we've seen like all types of crazy shifts, right? Where I would take him, let's see. Man, where could you take somebody like him? You know what I mean? He's been everywhere.
He's eating out a lot in DC. He's getting caught on camera a lot.
You know what I mean? Like, where could you take him? I think one of my favorite spots to probably take him would be probably Tony and Joe's in Georgetown.
Never been.
Okay, so Tony and Joe's in Georgetown is kind of like a bar. It's not a dive bar by any means. It's a nice restaurant actually inside, but it's an atmosphere down on the waterfront where you can meet people, and it's like everybody blends. I mean, like all different cultures and backgrounds all blend into that one spot. And so I think me and him would have a good time, sitting there, wrapping it up, talking, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's
what would you be excited to ask him about?
How did he do it, man? Like, how did he do it for 8 years? How did that these people were trying to figure out something on him for 8 years? How did you stay so steady for 8 years? I mean, you're talking about somebody who understands
him being steady, like just grinding it out, or him not being caught.
Well, I mean, you can say it however you want to, not being caught or whatever it may be.
Or like being out, not even being caught, but like just being blasted in the media.
That's right. How do you, I mean, like these people.
You are, because you are right. Even if he did his things, it was never shown. They never put it out there.
You know what I'm saying?
They didn't slander his name.
And they were trying. I mean, like people, there were people who were literally.
Not how it is now. Or the last couple of years, even with Biden.
Yeah.
Even with Biden, they didn't do that. You could definitely, it has gotten out of kind of control.
So it's like they were not. He was able to survive being a minority in a situation where even if they were looking, he kept himself and his family. Michelle kept the family on point. They were able to keep themselves in a way that you really couldn't say much about him other than his tan suit that time. Remember they talked about his tan suit?
If you think they did like try to slander him, even if it was like false or they just like went real heavy with it, do you think that would have changed the cultural mindset of African Americans here?
No,
in the US?
I don't think so, because he did his job. I mean, I used to remember hearing like from a lot of older black.
I mean, like if they like the news medias or the Republic, like they was like trying to slander his name like to a heavier extent. Even towards the end.
I don't think so. But there has to be. So here's the thing about it. In order for there to be smoke, there has to be some type of fire, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't light any fires enough for them to do it. I think personally they were probably looking. There just was nothing there because he was literally, him and Michelle were literally that tight. And that goes back to like the importance that he played, right? Like I'm sure that they were looking. This media's job to present things that are going to be interesting to people, right? But the fact that it was very few things that they could ever say about him or Michelle just proves like, well, man, like he really was staying above board, which is amazing because he did it not only for 4 years, but then he turned around and did it for another 4 years. He also took over a situation economically that was really tough. And a lot of times one of the stereotypes that we get is that we don't know how to deal with money. Mm-hmm. He inherited a very bad economy, right? After Bush, we were pretty much in a recession. And so he was able to survive that. So it was just a lot of things that he destroyed as far as stereotypes that we are still now feeling the effects of when it comes to politics. A lot of these people were so distraught by him and his wife or them two as a couple that now they are like, wow, like what does that mean for me? And you've seen this pendulum switch, this shift so dramatically in the other direction because of that, right? And that is not in any way to say that that's his fault. That's not any way to say that it's Michelle's fault or anybody else's. That just lets us know the world that we live in. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So for that reason, I would definitely want to sit down with him and be like, teach me the way. How do you do this? I can barely hold it together week after week, right? Like, how do you do this for 8 years? You understand what I'm saying? Like 8 years he did that. So yes, for that reason, it would definitely be him, and we would just go out to the Georgetown waterfront and wrap it up.
That kind of reminds me of, have you seen that clip with Barack and Anthony Edwards?
No. Tell me about that one.
There's a clip with Anthony Edwards. There's a bunch of basketball players. They went out to dinner and they was hanging out with Barack.
Okay.
And this is Barack Obama, right?
Yeah.
And he was just himself.
Yeah.
And then he didn't care.
Right.
And so Barack was talking to him, and he said, don't quote me, but he said something to his play style, right? Like, is he a monster or not? And Anthony was like, yeah, ask anybody. They all know. They know who I am.
Right.
I'm
right.
him. I'm him.
Right.
And he was like, I'm him.
I'm that dude.
Yeah.
Right.
And Barack, and it was just like the way he said it to Barack.
Right.
Like, nobody else would have did that or
Right.
said it that way because they all know better.
Right.
Not even like know better. It's just like it's a respect thing, you know.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
Barack would say it's kind of say he walked to LeBron. Was like, come talk to the young buck. He don't know how to do the talk. and young buck was just like, he was like, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Right.
He was like, I am him. You ain't gonna tell me otherwise. He was like,
Right.
they don't know.
Right.
And he's
right.
laughing at it. You go to the comment section, everybody was like, that's Barack, bro. I was like,
Right.
come on. So it was like,
But the fact that he was cool enough to do that and not get all awkward about it and be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So,
in that environment, yeah.
right. You know
And
what I
that's
mean?
y'all
Like
did.
that's just him, man. Like that's just him in any environment. Again, he was very, very, as you can tell now in this world, he was very threatening to a lot of people. Right?
Okay. I like how you brought up environment. I kind of want to talk about that next. You grew up in Southeast DC.
Yeah, I grew up in Southeast, man.
What part of Southeast DC? You grew up in?
Savannah Terrace.
Savannah Terrace?
Yeah.
Like Garfield?
Yes, we lived across the street from Garfield Elementary.
Like you said, you lived across the street from Garfield Elementary?
Yeah.
Okay, it's over by Jasper?
Jasper, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I know you on the back end when you go to behind Garfield, but it's like that curve to the left.
Yeah, they used to be a mirror.
my best friend actually still lives on that block.
Remember that big hill that would drop like off of?
I lived at the bottom of the hill.
You lived at the bottom of the hill?
I lived at the bottom of the hill in Shipley Terrace.
Yes.
In Shipley Terrace, those apartments in Shipley Terrace where they used to have it used to be a little community center at the bottom of the hill. Like, as soon as you get to the bottom of the hill.
Yes.
And there was a barbershop and there was a barbershop there too at the bottom of the hill. So we lived at the bottom.
Do you remember Murray's Steakhouse?
Yeah.
Yes.
I grew up in Murray's.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we used to walk, because I tell people all the time, like these kids kind of soft. Because like we used to walk from the bottom of the hill to Garfield, like when I was in first grade.
Yeah. And first grade.
Me and my older brother.
My mom used to send us to the corner store to get stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like 6 years old. Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. That's crazy. Damn, we was that close.
Yes, we were that close. I always tell people like the invisible string. That could have been an invisible string.
Like I went to Garfield. My mom taught at Garfield.
Okay, so the difference. My mom figured out a hack. She would So back then in DC, you could go all the way like.
Yeah, you can go anywhere you want.
Anywhere you wanted to. It's not like that now. They've divided it.
Because I remember because I lived in Southeast, but I went to high school. At least I went to high school in Northeast.
Yes, and again, there's certain situations that you can do that. Back then, you could bus your kid. If you get your kid there,
yeah,
in DC,
I used to catch the bus. I used to hop on a 90 bus.
So my mom used to take us all the way out to Northwest to Columbia Heights to a school called Marie H. Reed.
Yeah, my little brother went there.
Yeah, and so that was a school that actually Barack Obama used to play basketball in the basketball court there. Anyway, they used to bus us all the way out to Marie H. Reed. We used to take the 92.
Yep.
90, you remember?
92? Yeah, it was called the 90, 92, W4.
W4. Oh my goodness. So we used to take that, and then she would have the buses all the way back. But she was like,
they had the receipts back in the day.
Yeah,
you get the full receipt. You gotta make sure you get that full receipt.
That's full receipt,
so you can use it at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day.
That's true. You had to get the bus receipt. Yeah. So she.
And if you school the bus driver, you ask the bus driver to hook you up with for the rest of the week.
Right, and he would kind of clip it or whatever. Yeah. So she found out about that school specifically because it was near Embassy Row and it had a pool. Mm-hmm. And her thing was, I don't want y'all to be the black kids that can't swim. And that was the only school, I think, in DC, or at least it was one of the only schools that had a program about swimming. It built into the curriculum, right? So during lunchtime, when I was in elementary, they would take all of us as a group down, all these kids down to the bottom of the school. There was an indoor pool. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if it was winter, summer, whatever it may be, we could swim. So they'd take us down there and it would be black men who were lifeguards. And that was the most amazing thing because I had never seen a black lifeguard before, right? I had only seen like places where there were white lifeguards, right? And so I remember one of the first things they would have all the kids do, and it would be like they were swimming in the water, but after the first couple of days, one of the first things they would have us do to jump off the lifeboard is they would take us to the high jump board first, mm-hmm. right? And so they would try to figure out which kids were going to do the big ones and which kids weren't. And I remember they took me up to that big one. And I had buddies, man, like they jumped off immediately. They didn't care. I stood there probably for about 5 minutes, Jamar. Even though I saw all those black men swimming in the water right there, I was just like, bro, I don't know if I can do this, man. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And then finally, I don't know what happened. One of the brothers was like, yo, you can do this. And I looked down at him and I jumped into the water. And I was like, oh my God. And then after that, I was straight. I was straight in the water. But her specific reason to take us there was because of the pool program, because she didn't want us to be the black kids who couldn't swim. And the effects of that was great because that's right next to Embassy Row.
How old were you?
I was probably about 4 years old.
4? Your dad wasn't around?
No, my dad was definitely around.
He was around? Okay.
Yeah, he was around, but he's trying to get his master's degree. So he was actually off at college, right?
Okay, he was working. Okay.
He was in college working while he was in college. And then my mom was the one who was actually like working and then also taking us back and forth to school because he was trying to get his master's.
Okay.
But yeah, never seen that before. Huge impact. And then Embassy Row allowed me to meet a lot of different people. So I met people from all around the world. I met people from like Ecuador and Guatemala, and I met people from like Nigeria. And I remember I had this friend who was from Kenya, and all these people. I mean, and there were a few white kids in the school as well, but it impacted me. My best friend was a guy from Bangladesh, right? And his name was Bishu Kundu, right? And me and Bishu became fast friends, right? And I remember that I would go home and tell my cousins about all these people that I was meeting and I was talking to, and then whatever front, and like, bruh, like, where's this place at? And so then I would have to go look up the place.
Like Hogwarts.
Right? Like I had to go look up the place, right? Because I didn't know where they were at either. So we had to look up the places. But it changed my mindset. I remember talking to a therapist and they're like, why do you feel like you were different? I was like, literally because my mom used to bus us all the way across on that 92. All the way.
Did you hang out outside in Southeast?
I really didn't hang out outside. There was one time that Bishu Kundu's family, his dad was a part of the military. And so he would go to the embassy for Bangladesh in DC. And so they invited us over one time. And I remember going over his house one time, and that was really awesome, right? It was different than a house or whatever it may be. But that was really the only time. But it wasn't even about hanging out. It was just about the awakening of knowing there's a world bigger than Southeast. And there's all these people from around the world who come here. That was like probably imprinted on me the hardest.
Okay. So growing up in DC though, did you hang out outside? Like,
oh, absolutely. Yeah, we hung out outside all day long. I mean, from like,
like in Southeast DC?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, we live in Southeast. Like, we lived in Fontana Terrace. So all we did was hang out with Southeast. I remember as a kid, me and my cousins would like we would ride skateboards and stuff like that. My mom bought us a skateboard from this place called the Discount Mart. It was in
that was right, skateboards in Southeast?
Yeah, because there was this place called the Discount Mart, and the Discount Mart had everything on reduction, and so we would go to Discount Mart.
I don't think I've never seen a person ride a skateboard.
No,
not me growing up.
No, we had skateboards.
That is ninjas. No.
We had skateboards.
Nah, that is ninjas. I don't think. Nah.
My mom bought me.
Like, it got weird. My cousin when he started to ride a skateboard, we thought he was weird.
Yeah. Right. Well, we would ride skateboards even before your cousin, I imagine.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So we would ride skateboards, and but it was a few kids on our block who had skateboards. I wasn't the only one. We weren't the only ones with skateboards. Okay. We all got them from the Discount.
What is this with the skateboards?
What?
What age is this with the skateboards?
Probably like around like 10, 11, somewhere around there.
What, you know the year?
I don't know, man. The year, man. You got to be calculating and stuff. If that was
80s, 90s?
Yeah, 82.
The 80s? The 80s?
Yeah, it was still the 80s. It was still the 80s. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was still the 80s. So 80s. No, probably at that point it was probably early 90s.
Early 90s?
Yeah. It's probably early 90s at that point. So yeah, probably early 90s at that point.
MTV era.
Late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was a thing to do.
All right. So how do you think? You said the Bangladesh of it all. He kind of shaped your life. You think that improved your resilience and you being ambitious? Like, you think that increased your ambition to like want to grow?
It definitely, yeah. I mean, that growth. Like I said, I was talking to a therapist one day, and he was like, "Why do you think you went out and do all the things you do?" And I was like, I remember that time period, and that imprinted on me all the different type of people in the world. It made me very ambitious. Like, it made me want to go out and meet all these people. And at the time, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the resources, and I didn't have anybody who could tell me how to do it, right? But I had in my head all these ideas, and so I started getting like encyclopedias and stuff like that and read things. Me and my cousins used to be like, we were living in the hood, like off of like they were in Sutton Parkway, right? Like, so we go over there over the weekend. And two of my cousins, Chris and Tony, they were mad smart, man. I mean, they were just super smart. Their dad had bought them a computer early, even before us, right? Their dad had bought them a computer. And so we would go over there and we would like build computers. And then we would get on AOL and like troll people all day long. And then we would figure out how to like
On AOL.
AOL, bro. Like you go to do you remember chat rooms? Yes.
You would troll people with doing that?
Bro, we would troll people once you finally got on, right?
I was saying, what type of time did y'all have?
Once you finally got on, like how long you would sit there for hours trying to get on.
I remember when I first discovered the internet, bro. I was so slow.
Right, it was so slow. But yeah. So it was super slow with me. But you can still get on unless your uncle or something picked up the phone, then it would knock out everything. We were building computers. Like we would go and get stuff off of like
I'm old, bro. I used to
yeah. We used to do a lot of crazy things. So anyway, that's what we do. And it was a good time, man. I mean, like I said, we were in our neighborhood, everybody respected us as a family because our family is one of I won't say what type of family it is, but you could probably get the gist of it. It was a big family in DC that ran some things. And so like people respected us as a family. But for me and my cousins, my brother and my two cousins, man, we kind of just like live in this world that was in Southeast DC, but it wasn't exactly in it, right? It was kind of like
I get it. Like when we grew up, like my mother wasn't nobody like big or anything, but we had the clean house and
right.
Like we had the nice house. We had all the video games.
Right.
Like we had like the only like when the Apple computers came out with the big back.
Right.
Like we was one of the first people with like my mom made sure that we had. Like,
you had the Apple computer with the big back?
Yeah, I had that. Like my mom I always say that like and it's crazy because like now I make more money than my mom. Like how the hell she do it?
Yeah.
It's like I make more money, and I couldn't fathom having 3 kids right now.
Man.
You know, and she was like, cause I told somebody over there, I asked somebody over there, how many times you been to Disney, been to Florida, to Disneyland? Yeah. It's like never.
Never.
Like I've been to Disneyland 3 times in my life.
Living in Southeast DC, your mom was able to get you guys to
through the school, through Garfield. We went through Garfield because Garfield every year they would take, I guess all the parents would put all the money and they would do like a group thing with Disney. And they would get on a tour bus, and we would hop on a tour bus. We did it 3 times.
That is amazing.
And my mom, she always get the money, and we used to have a blast. I got that in core memories.
So did that imprint on you?
I don't know. I'm really just thinking about it right now, like literally live right now.
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, no, not really. Not growing up, I probably took it for granted at the moment because I was kind of young. Because I was young.
You did.
Because I was young, but I still remember.
But think about what you saw. You said it's a core memory, so that had to stay with you. Think about all the things you did.
I mean, my last thing I could see us on a bus going to Disney. I don't really remember the trip. It's actually I tell people actually it is a core memory because I went to Disney and it gave me a fear of heights. It kind of it actually started putting fear in my heart because I said before that I was fearless. I ain't have any fears.
Really.
I ain't have any fears until I fell off the monkey bars and I broke my collarbone. I broke one of these joints and I feel like it's messing me up now when I like lift weights. I think it's coming back because I had to wear a cast and everything with my whole arm. So that put fear in my heart. But like the same story I told them, I went to Space Mountain and you know the trolley they got to go all the way. I wanted to ride the trolley. So we get in the line, so 2 hours. We waited like an hour and some change just to get on this trolley. We get on the joint. They put us in this pitch black room.
Yes.
And that joint go whoosh. Because it wasn't the trolley, it was the roller coaster.
Right.
We was on the roller coaster. I have not gotten on a roller coaster since.
What?
No, I don't do roller coasters. I don't do heights.
Really?
I don't do heights. I'm terrified of heights. I
so
can't look
you
over
don't like roller coasters at all?
I can't look over a balcony without getting sick.
Really?
Yeah. Like I get dizzy.
Oh my God.
Like ever since then. And before that, I was fearless. Like I said, I was fearless before that.
Well, you thought you were fearless until
I got fear. Until I realized I can get hurt.
You had some experience. Right?
Yeah, until I realized I can get hurt.
Isn't that funny? That happens to you when you get older too. Like you don't have no fear when you're young, and then you got some experiences, then you got more fear. You kind of calm down. So
calm down. Yeah, calm down a little bit. Because before that, I was all over. I ain't had no fear in my heart. But so that did change me. So that's one of the things I got from going to Disneyland.
Really?
But then growing up and then like going back to like watching over my mom was like my mom, because the one thing I had growing up with my mom was that she wasn't confrontational.
Yeah.
She wasn't a Southeast mom. You know, like, oh, they loud. You know, my mom loved it. She was real quiet. She didn't do confrontation at all. But I wish she did more confrontation. Because when I was in high school, I got in trouble a lot. And she would never be there to like take my back. She would always take the school back. Whatever school said, it was true.
I was like, but were you messing up?
Nah. I mean, no, I was being me, but I was being a young child.
Okay.
No, like a security guard choked me out and I got suspended for 45 days.
What was you doing for him to choke you out?
I was the whole class. All right, this is stories, but I got plenty of story. Yeah, but all right, this one incident. Well, I got a lot of high school stories.
That's what I'm saying.
I got a lot of high school. Well, one incident with this incident was,
and you big dog.
I was just getting back from getting suspended. I had just got back from getting suspended. We was in the classroom. I'm in the Friendship Collegiate, and all the lights went out in the building. So nobody was doing nothing. We was in French class.
Okay.
And we was in French class, and everybody got the Jonah.
Yep.
You know, everybody got the Jonah. And for some reason, everybody wanted to pick on me. And I was the quiet kid. I want to talk until you talk to me.
Right.
And so they would pick on me. And then when I started talking, I talk. But when I talk, I cut deep.
Right.
Yeah, because I started saying, like, you from Trinidad, because I like, you ain't going nowhere in your life. I'm going to be successful. You ain't. So I say stuff like that to people. And so we would get to fighting, you know. And so to get past that, I asked the teacher, nice. I said, can I go to the classroom next door?
Okay.
She said, yes. She said, let's call over there and see if it's cool. That teacher said, yeah. Jamar can come over here. They chilling over here. Jamar can come over here and do some classwork.
Yep.
So I walk out the classroom, and I'm literally next door. As soon as I walk out the classroom, small female security guard, mind you, too. A small female security guard. She said, hey, you got to go back in your classroom. Nobody allowed in the hallways. I was like, that's cool. I'm just going to the classroom next door. Both teachers said I can do it. She said, no, go back in the classroom. And I said, they joining there. I ain't trying to get in trouble. So she said, I don't care. So I said, all right. And I turned around. I was going out, continued to walk to the other classroom. I ignored the security guard. I did ignore the security guard. Right. I went to go walk. And so she got behind me and started choking me out. Yeah, she choked me out. She got behind me and choked me out. But like at this point, I was a big guy. I was already 6 feet and I was like over 300 pounds. So I just got her off of me and I kept her pushing to the classroom. And then they came and got other security guards and they all got me and they handcuffed and they got me for assault.
They handcuff you?
Nah, I made it look like they handcuffed me.
Okay.
They put me on the floor. They made me sit out in the classroom and then they let the whole school out. And so I made it look like I was good.
I'm a gangster.
And I was like that. But no, I got suspended for 45 days. And
for that?
Yeah. And I got recommended they wanted to recommend me to get expelled.
Let me ask you something. Teachers didn't come to your aid or anything?
No. Nobody came to me.
Even though they said that.
And that's why I get so flustered now when I got to defend myself to. And that's why I had a downfall last year when I tried to defend myself to people. Because nobody came to my aid. Nobody said, no, we told you. We said Jamar can go. She just they didn't care. They was like, they said I wasn't supposed to put my hands on a security guard.
Even though she's choking you out?
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I was supposed to let her choke me out? That was my first. I was like, you sound getting heated. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Let her choke me out?
I know you got real passionate about that.
Yeah, I was like, what was I supposed to do? Let her choke me out?
You coughed that. That is a core memory too, because that came back to you real hard just then.
Yeah, because I was like, and then my mom came, ain't do nothing. She said, okay.
And was like, you were out.
I was out. I did my 45-day suspension, and I went to the rec center. And it does shape my life, because during those, I got suspended every year for 45 days.
Are you serious?
Until 11th grade, yeah. Until the 11th grade, every year was something different. Yeah. Twice was because of security guard.
And you went to Disney World?
That was when I was younger, though. I went to Disney World at the Garfield when I was in 3rd grade. Okay. But yeah, it's a core memories. I forgot that we just went on a tangent.
I mean, there's something wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I forgot the whole purpose of
core memories, right? Like how things shape you.
Yeah. So what started you to say, I need to own something. I need to get into a hustle. I need to be a businessman.
I remember when I've been an entrepreneur ever since I was a little kid. I would sell candy in school. I would sell pencils. I would sell racers. My mom used to take us to the dollar store, so I would do that. She used to take us to People's Drugs. Now it's CVS, but it used to be People's.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So I would buy like the old candy and then sell it to kids. I used to shovel snow, cut grass. So I just been always an entrepreneur because I realized like I just need to make my own money. My parents didn't have any money, right? Even though my dad was a school teacher, there still wasn't enough money. My mom was staying at home at the time. And so I just like, well, I need to make some money. I can't just be out here with no money. Right? I can't.
So when was the first time what age were you like, I make a lot of money right now?
I make a lot of money?
Not a lot of money, but like when you first started making, it's like, all right, I can make money. I'm good at making money.
I had a window tint business. Okay. So I had like a little window tint business. That was kind of like my first kickoff of a business. I started window tinting with this guy. And are we good to go? Okay. Yeah. So I started window tinting with this guy. And he was kind of like known for window tinting in Prince George's County. And up until that time, bro, I really wasn't making any money. But I started window tinting with him actually when I was in college. And I was in college when I was young. Like I was in college when I was 16 years old. Okay. 16, 17 years old. When's your birthday? Why you
No, I mean,
asking me my birthday, man?
it
Like,
must
what
be
you
late
mean?
in the year. I mean, you must have a late birthday because I was the same way. I went to school when I was like 16 too.
Yeah, so I was in college when I was 16, and
Anybody trying to figure out your government?
I got out of school when I was early. I got out of school early. So I had a job, was on the tenting, and I was like, man, this make good money, man. Like $100 a car. He was making however much he was making a car, and then he would give us the cut of it. So then I started something like that, and that made good money. And then I didn't really start making really good money until I got into real estate. Real estate, I was a real estate agent, and I was very shy. When I tell you I'm a very shy person, I was very much an introvert.
What age was and that was in college?
Yeah, it was in college. It was when I went back to college. I got into real estate because I needed to make some money, and I need something that was flexible. And tenting cars wasn't necessarily flexible. You had to be like there from like 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. to like 5 p.m. to get people who were coming in and everything else. So I wanted to go back to school and get my bachelor's because I got my associates when I was about 18.
Mm-hmm.
And so
you was in like your middle 20s, early 20s when you went back to school?
Yeah, somewhere around there. And then
How long was your break in between?
It was a while. I mean, it was probably about 5-6 years, something like that.
You think you needed that, or you think you would have been better off?
Looking back, I probably would have just gone all the way through. But we were Jehovah's Witnesses, and so like schooling was kind of looked down upon. Like going anything past high school was looked down upon, and I thought I was going to continue to be a Jehovah's Witness. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna just get the basic associate's degree, and I'll be done. And that really wasn't what people were looking for. You know what I'm saying? So I went back later on in life and did what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did that, and then I got into real estate. Real estate made good money. Became a property manager. And that's when
growing up Jehovah's Witness in Southeast. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Again, I think one of the only reasons why we were okay is because our cousins were probably something like they were well known, right? And so like they started back around like Rayful Edmonds time period, like, and so that just gives you an indication of like where we were, right? Like, so we got away with like a lot of things just because people kind of knew who our family was, but real estate is kind of a way to make money, and I stayed in that for years.
How'd you get into it?
I was very shy, so that was going to explain this. I was a very shy person, right? I knew that I wanted to talk to people more. And so I got into real estate because if you don't talk, you don't eat. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to talk to people. If you ain't talking, people just are not going to listen to you. So I did it for that reason. And then I stayed in it because it made good money. Like I said, it made good money. And it got me out of my comfort zone. I got to meet a lot of different people. I got to meet families. I worked with people in Virginia. I worked with people in DC.
So I think my biggest question for you have always been with the real estate thing. How did you get it to go from 0 to 6 figures?
Yes. So let's get down to the money. So I started off in selling homes. I did okay with that. We were about to go into a recession. My advisor at the time, Lee Odoms, was like, look, I've seen this before. You may want to consider something else. He had seen it in the 80s. He was like, I think that we're in a real estate bubble. You might want to get out of this. And I was like, no, man, I just made all this money. I ain't trying to get out of this. And then he was like, no, you might want to consider something else, like maybe property management, right? Mm-hmm. And I got out and I listened to him and I got into property management. And sure enough, we ended up having that recession. The markets crashed. Countrywide went down. All these other companies went down during that time period. And property managers is the way I made 6 figures, because as a property manager, every property you get a base salary, and then every property you get adds to your money, and then your monthly money, and then you get money on when you sell properties, and then when you rent them out. And that's when I started to get into like the 6-figure income area, because I was like,
how many properties?
I probably managed about over 200 properties in the Maryland, DC, and Virginia area, and I was the youngest property manager. And I was the only one.
How do you even go about? Is that like one connect you connect with, or you had to like go door to door?
No. So they would give them to you. So like they had a system where they would go out and give you all the leads, and then you had to go and meet the person at the house and convince them to work with you, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what I would do. They would give you the lead. You would head to the house. You would talk to that customer, and then they would have to be convinced to work with you, the company that you were working for. Okay. So I built mine up. And I had like 2 assistants, and that's when I kind of like had reached like an area where it was good. And I realized that watching these people who own properties, I'm like, man, you don't have to be super wealthy to get to a place where you can have like ownership of yourself, right? Like you can have self-reliabilities, because these people had properties, they would struggle it out, then they would move and then go buy another property, and then they would put a renter in it, and they would just continue that process across wherever they were going. And I saw how they did it. So that kind of put me in the mindset of being like, yo, real estate is the way.
Okay. So you transitioned from real estate to, when I actually met you, you was starting the tourism app.
Yeah.
When I met you, Toursy.
Yeah.
And you had the CrossFit. You had your own CrossFit location.
I did. I had my own CrossFit gym, and I still had my own. I still had my own property management company and real estate company at that time too. Yeah.
Yeah, you still had that, and then you transitioned over into electric car chargers.
Yep.
And then you sold that company, but that company was worth multi-millions, right?
Yeah, I mean, we did over the course of probably 3 years, $13 million in revenue.
Okay. So how was it when you first hit $1 million, like in revenue?
It was crazy.
What was that process and feeling that then?
Yeah, so I hit $1 million in revenue when I had my real estate company, but I had never gotten over $1 million because I was always like, it was literally a mental barrier.
He's at the cuffs.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I can. What does it feel like to get past that? So I never did.
That's crazy. That's what I feel like I'm at now. Like I'm at like 140.
Everybody has
and like it got to a point where you can just do it in your sleep, right?
Right. Yeah.
It got like that, right?
It did.
And then that's just like how I get to that next level.
When you, it's the same thing with any level in your head. It really is in your head, right? It really is like from a billionaire to a millionaire to somebody with 1,000. It's just a number that you set, right? Right now, my number is $5.6 billion. I don't know why I chose that number. That just seems like a number that I need to be able to make in revenue per year, right, with a company. But yes, it is a barrier, and you can get past it. And what you'll find that sometimes you'll start to do is you'll start to like do things almost self-sabotage, right? Because you got imposter syndrome, and you're like, I don't know if I belong here, right?
Like I'm not gonna shoot my podcast anymore because I don't know if I need to be.
Right.
Who am I to be talking to?
Right. I ain't gonna put my content up today, even though you got it sitting on you. I'm not gonna go talk to this person. I'm gonna mess up this relationship, right? Like you do these things. I'm not gonna respond to this person who's trying to work with me, right? It's those things that we do because we're in fear of like getting over that next hump. And in reality, like everything we want, I remember Will Smith saying this, and I don't know if I know he's not the only one that said it, but everything we want is on the other side of fear, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's true. Everything you want is on the other side of that fear. If you can get past that fear, like you really can do anything. There's no difference between you right now, Jamar, and Tyler Perry, right? Who's a producer and does all these great things. Other than he was at a place where he was just like, F it. I'm gonna go out there and just do the thing, right? He was literally homeless. And he put his
and there's some people that don't know that story.
Right.
I had to tell somebody that story.
Yeah,
like,
really?
I ain't know.
Oh yeah.
I ain't know he did. They ain't even know he did plays.
Yeah,
I was like, they done started off his plays.
Yeah.
I was like, that was his whole thing.
You understand what I'm saying? But there's no difference between you right now, sitting here right now today. He'll tell you the same thing. There's no difference between you and him other than your ability to get over fear. And as I say this to you right now, there are certain fears that I have in my head right this minute. Like there are certain things that I have in my head right this minute by going to $5.6 billion. How do I do it, right? That even in my own business, I'll be completely transparent. I, in some ways, made mistakes in my own business because I saw what was coming. I saw the change or how it could essentially be affected by an administration. I knew what was going to happen, but I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to do X, Y, and Z, right? Well, I realized that was imposter syndrome, but it was also self-sabotaging to me. I wasn't ready, right? And so in all of us, we have these fears, right? And a lot of it is because we are told to be seen and not heard, and so we have that in the plan in our head, right?
My sister just told me that's wrong to say to somebody.
It is
because I told her my mother used to say
it's very.
I mean, it's everybody. It's a '90s thing, I guess.
But that's what we were told as slaves. So you understand where that comes from? Like we were told.
And I didn't even
think
about it. I never thought about it from that perspective.
We were actually told that. So a lot of things that we have in our head, we like. I don't know if I be seen and not heard, I might get whooped. right?
Because I told it to my dog, Minzy. I said it to Minzy. She was barking.
Right.
And I said, you supposed to be singing out her. And she said, and she kirked out. I was like, what are you talking about? That's a saying.
Right.
To me, I was like, is this a saying too?
Exactly. And so like what I'm saying is like, there's these things that we have as Black men and as Black culture that we still have trauma inside of us.
Mhm.
And so we don't think that we belong. And then we also often told that we don't belong. We are told in so many ways, in so many microaggression ways that we don't belong, right? Right now, it's just straight out on Front Street, right? But we're told in a lot of places to be seen and not heard. So a lot of those things affect us. And so for that reason, a lot of times we don't go out and do what we need to do. Right now, at this point, I'm in a place at 42 years old that I just don't have a lot of fear. You know what I'm saying? From a lot of things. I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? If I sit here and act in fear all the time, there's so many things that I'm going to miss out on. And I have daughters, right? I want them to be able to see somebody who's fearless.
So speaking of fear, what was that process of, I'm a Sylvia and I'm gonna start this new company, Kurody? What sparked that whole motion?
Yeah, so I mean, Kurody started from me learning about really our history as far as Black Americans, and then our history as far as being of African descent. It was funny. I used to be the type of Black person who would be proud of me being like the only Black person in the room. I'd be like, secretly. I mean, I would say it like it's an excuse. I would say like it's a complaint, like, oh, can you believe I'm the only Black person in the room? But it secretly was kind of
power.
It was almost like a flex, right?
Okay.
It was almost like, oh, you know, I'm the only Black person in the room, these rooms, right? And then I realized, like, after this election, there's a lot of realities that I had to come to terms with, right? About where we sit as far as Black people in America. And those terms sent me down like this rabbit hole of just information overload, because I would typically avoid like Black movies about Black history or 12 Years a Slave or any of these things that depicted us as like the history of what happened with us. Because I was like, well, that ain't us now and I don't want to think about it. And so I'm just not going to look at it, right? Yeah. I was like, I don't want to think about it. It's gonna cause me to be like, you know.
That's not like every NCP person I've ever talked to.
MCP, what is that?
I know I said the abbreviation wrong, but non-person of color.
Non-person of color.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What you think of me? A non-person of color, a person of non-color.
Oh, okay.
I get
it.
What did that mean?
Oh, he was telling me. Oh no, I knew what it meant. I was trying to get him to say it. I wanted him to say it on camera. He wasn't trying to say it.
Oh, you want me to say? Oh,
I was trying to
keep it PC.
I was trying to bait him to say it.
I mean, I feel so funny. I'm like, it's kind of lately, bro. I hate saying white people, or like I'm gonna call them Caucasians, or even like, you know, Anglo Americans, you know,
right.
Or like some European Americans or something. Caucasian American. They need to be called Caucasian. I'm gonna start talking Caucasian.
Called Caucasians.
Caucasian American.
They hate
Caucasian
that.
American.
They hate that.
For Caucasian American?
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna call me African American. I can call you Caucasian American.
You're European American.
You're European American, because you are. You ain't from here.
Yeah, you're European American.
You know.
You probably shouldn't put that in this video. I'm just saying. Remember we talked about Ryan Coogler, like what he do, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a textbook case. Just
you brought it up.
I'm just saying. Yeah, no, I mean, it was a lot going on. But you notice, like, I'll try not to mention like what it is. I'll just say like the election and what happened. So, just a lot going on. I mean, there's a cultural shift, right? Like, there's a cultural shift in my own head. It's always been here. Right? It's been here for almost 400 years. But it was just a cultural shift of like where I sat in the world and how people view me. And so because of that, like as I did more research, I realized, and I started to watch all the movies that I didn't want to watch, and I started to listen to all the people who have been preaching these things, right, for a long time, from Maya Angelou to Malcolm, to Martin, to Huey Newton, to all these people who were trying to do things that I felt like were just too Black. It was like, oh, well, that's just too Black. It's too militant, right? Like it's not, we're not assimilating. I realized that like one of the reasons why a lot of us are in the situation that we are in is because we don't know our history and we don't understand the dynamics of it. And most importantly, when I watch my counterparts, I have a lot of friends who are Indian. I have a lot of friends who are Chinese and of Latin descent, people who are white, right? And they always know where they came from. They know, like, they can say, well, I'm Italian, I'm from this city, and I've actually been there, and X, Y, and Z. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from in Africa?
No idea.
Exactly, right?
No idea.
Right? Like, can you tell me what country you were from in Africa?
Nope.
Exactly.
That's why I got no ties to it.
And exactly.
I got no ties.
There you go. Exactly. Whereas if you ask like a person, like one of my Indian friends, like, where are you from in India?
Yeah,
they can tell you Ahmedabad.
No, I have a white roommate.
Right.
And we both have done our AskTransCity.com.
Right.
You know, so I did mine a long time ago when I was in college because I had a DC history teacher that made everybody do it because he wanted to prove that same point. He said he just wanted to show that most African Americans cannot go back 4 generations. You can get lucky if you can get past 4 generations.
Right.
That's like, you know, that means that's past your great grandmother.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like my great grandmother just died at 103.
Wow.
Yeah, she just died 2 years ago at 103.
Wow.
And so I still have my great grandmother alive. I got to interview her a little bit.
That's amazing.
She could, it was. I'm mad I didn't interview her a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But my train is going away.
But you don't know where you came from.
Yeah, so I don't know where I came from. Yeah, so I did my ancestry. I was able to go back 3 generations past my great grandmother, actually.
Right.
To like some Indians.
Right.
But it kind of got lost after that because it literally came to a point where the last great grandfather I got to, they said, well, we don't know anything past him because his name was given to him by his new masters.
Right.
Because he was picked up on the street. He was actually walking on the street, got picked up by some random people, and they changed his name and he forgot it over time.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And so that it's gone.
Right.
And but my roommate, he went back so far that he knows his family goes all the way back to Transylvania.
Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Like he said he's proud of. He's related to the original Count Dracula.
You get what I'm saying though? Like, that's the point. You can ask, like I said, you can ask a Chinese person today. You can ask somebody from Latin America today where they came from. They'll tell you right now. You can ask a Russian person. They'll tell you they're from Serbia, whatever it may be. We are the only group of people in America that when you ask us where we came from, we don't know most of the time where we came from. And that was intentional. That was intentional. And so when I started to do that, I did my DNA test. I'm not going to tell you what company because they in some turmoil right now, but you probably already figured out who it was.
I'm scared to do it so much.
I did it because I was like, I want to know.
I don't want nobody to have my DNA. They're going to clone me.
Man, I found they're going to clone you anyway. They already got your DNA. If you went to the hospital, they got your DNA. Exactly. They already got it. But anyway, I did it and I was like, anyway, it hit me. I was like, oh my God, I'm from West Africa.
You know what part of West Africa?
Absolutely. So I am mostly Nigerian and the other part is Ghanaian. And we knew that we were Irish, right? So I'm like 12% Irish, right? Like, so
my last name was Irish.
Yes.
I don't know.
Is it? Okay. Mine is McCoy. So obviously, right? Yeah. But yeah, it hit me. I'm like, man, I'm 80% African descent right this minute. I can tell you where I'm from, right? And as more people do it, this is the thing about it because of us specifically. If more people would put their information in, apparently it would even be able to nail down where we are from, like our tribes eventually, right? So it could become more specific. But I'm mostly Nigerian and a good percentage of Ghanaian, but mostly Western African, right? 80% Western African. Well, we told all these stories about us being like Indian. Like my parents were like, well, we got Indian in our blood. And we do, but it's very minuscule. It's like 1%, right? As compared to like the West African, the Irish.
What's the percentage?
So 80% like West African, and then it was like 12% Irish, and then the rest was just other. Everything from like Native American to like
the blend, okay.
Yeah, other things like that. But it hit me when I could actually say, well, hey man, this is where I'm from. It was a proud moment for me. Okay. It's the same moment.
So does this moment say, I'm just gonna sell my multi-million-dollar company and start this new venture?
It wasn't that. I mean, the system was declining anyway, so I knew like I had to get out of it. I knew I had to get out of electric vehicle, and then we were sustainability and everything else like that. I knew what was going to happen in this administration, right? So I was like, well, I got to get out of this. I always had an interest in it. The part that hit me was it was a combination of things. It was what was happening with the administration. And knowing where we stood in the world, that I was like, and then watching all my counterparts who were doing well, even watching ones who are now in the White House, like, who are Indian and Asian and things like that, and Jewish and everything else, and understanding like, man, because they had that connection back to their people, because Jewish people can connect back to Israel, because Indians could connect back to India, because Chinese can connect back to Chinese, because the Latin Americas can connect back to Cuba and Venezuela, and El Salvador is on the map right now because of the mega prisons. Mm-hmm. They have this ability to do well, both economically, because they can send their money back there. It makes money, right? Then they send their money back here to make money. And that's the one part that us of African Americans, we don't have. We don't have that ability to send our money over to Africa, for example, and to whatever country we may be from, whether it's Nigeria or Sierra Leone or Egypt or whatever it may be, have that money make money there, right? And then send that money back over here to make money here in the economy so that we can do well. We don't have that ability. We don't have that return, that reciprocal ability. And so for that reason, I thought to myself, well, the only way that we can do this now, we can do it now in a digital age, but there's no platform to do it. People are just sending money over through Western Union and other ways. They're pay sites, fintech sites, right? Like Flutterwave and Flutterware and some of these other ones that people send money through. But there needs to be a way for people who don't necessarily have a connection and family there right now to be able to invest their money in Africa. And because we don't necessarily...
So is that the overall goal of Kurody?
That is
to get investments into Africa.
The investments into Africa.
Now, so it's not, because for me looking at it, I thought it was mostly trying to get African Americans to get citizenships over there. And
so
return,
it did.
The return,
It did revolve, but in order to do that, you have to invest. Just like in the United States, right? You can't just walk up in the United States and say, I want citizenship. Right now, if you have about $1 million, you can walk up in the United States and say, look, I want to get citizenship, but you have to invest in the United States. You have to make jobs. You have to invest in a business, right? It's the same thing there. You have to invest there, right, in order to be able to grab citizenship. And so as I started to do real research to these African countries, I realized that they have a very similar process to everybody else in the world. Mm-hmm. You have to invest there first in order to see the return that you want to see as far as citizenship or whatever else it may be. So that has been our evolution. There are ways to get investment, but you have to start investing. There are ways to get citizenship in these countries, but you have to invest first. Yeah. That's what Kurody is about. It's about investment into Africa, not aid. We're not talking about aid. Africa doesn't need aid. They really don't need us. But there should be investment.
So is there an elevator pitch for the African Americans out there? If you want, you can even be looking directly in your camera.
Nah.
is there just to the like why should I invest?
I mean,
I'm here. I'm African American. I'm doing something good, okay here. Why should I invest?
Yeah, I mean, are you really though? I mean, are we really? Like, are we really doing okay here? Like,
from where I'm from, yeah.
Right. Yeah. From where you're from. So, I mean, the elevator pitch to people is that, like, look, you can buy property here for a certain amount of money, but it's not going to take it very far. You can buy beachfront property in Africa right now for probably about $4,000, right? That beachfront property will eventually turn into, real estate doesn't depreciate, land doesn't, right? At least. That property could potentially give you economic freedom, right? That's not an opportunity you have right now. I mean, unless you got $1 million, it's very difficult for you to go to Miami.
No, but I can get $4,000 though.
Right, but you can get $4,000 and buy yourself a beachfront property there, right? That will eventually appreciate. Africa is also one of the fastest growing economies in the world right this minute, right? 10 of their countries right now are the top 10 in the world when it comes to economic growth. A lot of us don't know that. That's our opportunity to create wealth. It's difficult here right now to create wealth, particularly in DC. I mean, the average median income is $100,000, and then but everything else here is expensive. I even can't buy property on the Georgetown waterfront right this minute, right? But I could buy some property in Ghana or Togo or Burkina Faso and hold on to that land. And that's a deed that I have that I can give to my children, right? And that's a farm that I can create. And there's things that I can do in these economies that are growing. And so for the pitch is get in early, right? And then get in with a group of people who love you. Africans love their people.
But does that need moving there? Like I have to move to Africa for this?
You don't have to move to Africa to invest in Africa. I mean, there's a bunch of Europeans who never moved to Africa and they own a lot of land in Africa, right? That is, I would encourage people to go there and see Africa to see what it's about, right? I just wanted to
bring up the I was trying to force you to bring up dual citizenship.
Yeah, but
a lot of people don't know.
Here's the thing about it. In order for us to be able to do that, right? Again, we have to invest first. And so I am
I understand
100% like that. That's a buzzword right now. People are very interested in dual citizenship, and I get that. But we have to look at it from their perspective too, right? We as Americans are not just giving out citizenship to people.
No,
right?
no.
You got to invest.
We got gold cards,
right?
You need money for
it. You need money for it, right? Or you got to stay here for a certain amount of time, which is investing your time and energy into that country, into the U.S. before you can get citizenship. Well, they are in the same position, right? We need to go there. We need to invest. We need to understand them as a people, right? And then we can talk about, okay, let's talk about citizenship. But a lot of times we go over there with the mindset of like, yo, we should just get it because we're Black. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, that's not really the case with anywhere else in the world. You can't just go over to Italy and get citizenship just because you're Italian.
No, you can't.
You got to invest over in citizenship even if you're Italian. That should be the situation. That's the situation with them too. There are certain situations where it came up, like Ghana. Ghana had a right to return or whatever it may be, a right to abode. But right now, Africa needs investment. And if you go look at it from this perspective, if you do want dual citizenship and you do want to eventually live there, don't you want a thriving economy? Don't you want your property and everything else to be thriving when you go there, right? So from just a purely selfish standpoint, if you're just, like, how does it work out for me? Invest in an economy that's growing early, right?
No, I get it. I just got back from Colombia. I'm not going to speak too much on it. But I just got back from Colombia. But it was, when I was there, I took a break and I went out to like the mountains out there. And the Airbnb I stayed at, the dude that owned it, he was like, all the property was like $200,000.
Yeah.
For the property that he stayed at.
Isn't that
He was
crazy?
like, he booked solid.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's like he had his little cabin here, but he had two more up top, and that's where his mom lived at, and him and his wife lived at.
Yeah.
I was like, that's low-key kind of what I want. I was like, I always say, for me, I was like, I just want to get my little island and disappear.
Do you know that you can own an apartment building, like a 30-unit apartment building in Africa in certain places for $30,000?
That's always scares me, though, because I don't want to be no landlord.
That's how
But you know what's crazy? I was like, I always say that. I always just like, I don't want to be no landlord, but I like Viking shows. And it just occurred to me, like, why they call everybody lords in Viking shows. You ever notice that? Because they're landlords, because they own land. That's literally where it came from. And I was like watching like the Vikings, how they do it. Like even their serfs and the land aspect, and like basically their serf, like, because I always tell people like, they talk. I don't want to get too heavy with slavery, but when you talk about like the Vikings and their slaves, like the Viking slaves, like the serfs, they didn't mind being slaves because they didn't see it as being slavery. They was actually just workers. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tell you this. They lived there.
Listen, I'm gonna be straight up with you. There's no situation where I can be a slave.
I'm not being a slave. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying just like a mentality thing of like a not socialist concept, but like it was a symbiotic workflow between them. Like they didn't own any land. This person owned land and allowed them to live in the land. All they had to do was work.
So it's not called what we have right now. That's an employee and an employer. That's a business owner. And
they had a different name for. They had a different name for it. They had serfs. I'm messing it up because serfs are slaves, but then they had another round of people. They weren't technically slaves, but they were workers and they worked on the land that the lords owned.
So here's the truth about it. The wealthiest people in the world own land.
Yeah.
So everybody who tells me they don't want to be a landlord because they don't like the responsibility or they don't like their landlord and so they don't want to be perceived that way, I tell them the wealthiest people in the world own land. And one of the few places, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, even the way my money, the way my bank account's set up, you know what I'm saying? If somebody tell me like, look, you want to buy something in Miami, I'll be like, I got to transfer money from checking to the savings, you know what I'm saying, so that I can get that money up. But in Africa, right? I can own beachfront property right now. I can own beachfront property with me and my friends. And so what we're doing right now is that we're explaining to people, like everyday people, with $100, right? You can go in with a group of people and buy this land. And not only do you buy the land, we can make sure that it's secure. Mm-hmm. We can make sure that eventually gas, plumbing, heating, and a lot of these places already have that running to them, are there. And as the economy grows, right, as Africa's economy grows, which is will, because they're going to continue to have people, right? They're going to continue to make people. You would have the ability to own that piece of property and eventually capitalize on it, right? Or you could own that piece of property with a group of people and then buy it out from them one day, right? But at least you have ownership in that land. Now, if you do it across a few different areas, because I mean, there's tons of hectare-acres in Africa, you could be a gigantic landlord, as you say, or a gigantic landowner. And it's not with people who don't look like us. It's us that own the land instead of people who don't look like us, who may not ever live there, so they don't care about the outcome. See, when I look at a person that when I've been to Africa, I look at them and they look at me, we look like each other. Mm-hmm. There's no difference between the way you look right now and somebody in Africa. There's no difference between you. Mm-hmm. You may try to judge it and be like, oh, well, I look different because X, Y, and Z. But no, if you go to Africa right now, there's people who look just like you. There's people who look just like me there, right? So when I see them, I see me. I don't want to take advantage of me. I don't want to get over on me because that's me, right? I'm staring back at me. I don't want to take advantage of a person who's in business there because that's me. That'd be somebody taking advantage of me. That's the difference between us going over there and investing in anybody else, right? We want to have a situation where we look at each other just like an Indian person goes to India and doesn't want to take advantage of an Indian person, mm-hmm. or a Chinese person goes. We don't want to take advantage of each other. That's the opportunity that we have right now. And I don't know how long that's going to last, but right now it's great. And so Kurody is helping people crowdfund investment in Africa, both in businesses that are real estate backed, but then also particularly in real estate itself, right? So that over time that real estate would appreciate and that you can have a return on it.
Okay. All right. So we're actually getting there to the end of the show. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go back to like all great things in history, everything reverts, everything cycles. We're going to go back to an icebreaker. I have another icebreaker question for you. And the question is...
We done broke the ice.
Yeah, broke the ice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, bro, we could talk all day.
You might ask the question you want to ask. What do you want to ask?
Yeah, we could talk all day. So we got to get what we can get. The question is, Will, if you woke up tomorrow and Kurody and the Return Podcast had already moved over 1,000 Black African-American families over to Africa, what would be the first thing you would do in a day?
What would I do?
In that day?
Oh, my God.
Like you just woke up. But with the knowledge that Kurody has already gotten to a level where you guys got 1,000 Black people to move over to and invest in
Africa. Well, there's one investor that I would call right away because I know him personally, and that's kind of been his challenge to me. Mm-hmm. He owns a $1 billion fund, so I would definitely hit him up right away and like, look, see what we did? I told you we could do it. Then I would probably go into a place where I would want to ask.
You should say that directly to the camera. So right. I told you we could do it.
I told you, right? I told you we could do it, right? I mean, he believes in it. He just was like, I want to see you do it. Because he's like, You're going to
use this when you do it.
He's like, I invest in Africa, and like, you can get hurt in Africa, but you can get hurt anyway. He admitted, he's like, you can get hurt anyway. I tell people don't know it, right? So I would do that. But then at the same time, I would ask each one of those people like to give me their reason. Because whatever their reason is, they were big enough, they were early adopters, right? They jumped into it because they have the mindset of early adoption. But not most people are middle of the road, right? I mean, there's a book called Crossing the Chasm. It talks about how you get from early adopters to mainstream. You want to get to the mainstream. You want to cross the chasm with everyday people doing this. I would ask them. I would go into research. I would visit them there. I would understand their mindset and whatever resonated with them from each demographic, from male to female to anything in between, and say, what made you do this? Like, why did you do this? What resonated with you when I said you can crowdfund real estate or real estate-backed businesses there? And whatever that was, I would take that message and I would pound that message into everybody else over here, right? To try to get more. Right, to replicate it. That's what you do. You prove out your model, right? And then you replicate that model time after time until you get enough people to adopt it. And I want to be clear, Kurody, I did this for, specifically the diaspora, right? But I mean, everybody can take advantage of what we're offering. It's not anything that Africa needs all types of investment, right? It's not just diaspora or anything else like that. They need all types of investors. And so it's not exclusive to any one group. But I thought the group right now that could benefit from connecting to Africa the most right now are people who look just like you and I, right?
Okay.
They're probably the beneficiaries in two ways. One, economically, and then two, even from an emotional, psychological standpoint, having that connection and knowing where you're from could be a huge benefit to all of us.
All right. So that's good. That's amazing, and I can't wait to see how. I know it's going. I tell people all the time. I'm like, Will, the one person I know. Like, that's why I'm not afraid to start new businesses all the time now. 'Cause I'm like, I just seen this dude go through so many LLCs. So it's only a quick $500. Let's get that LLC real quick. Just go ahead and go do it. So, knowing that fact, I want you to look at your camera.
Look at my camera.
And look at your camera, and I want you to go talk to all the. We both from Southeast DC.
Yep.
You know, so this video, it means a lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to anybody out there listening.
It means a lot to me.
And talk to the young brothers and sisters in Southeast, and anything you would like to say to them. It could be inspirational, education. You could tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Give them something inspiring to say. To like, if you want to make 6 figures, make 6 figures. Or if you feel like you're missing that heritage connection, then maybe Africa might be where you might need to go. Like, whatever you feeling in your heart that you would want to go tell the young brother off the street.
I love shoes, right? Sneakers is my thing. I mean, as you can tell, I got some shoes on right now, right? I love shoes. And for many years, I spent money on shoes, and then I got out of it, and I got a passport. If there's anything I can tell any young person, right this minute, I told you this,
I just got my passport.
right? Remember, we had this conversation.
Second trip,
right?
Africa be third,
right? So I'll tell any young person out there, take the $150 and get your passport. And even if you don't go right away, take the $100 and get your passport before you go buy the new iPhone or the new pair of Jordans or whatever it is. Not even that. Just trying to put some money aside. Get your passport, because here's why. You're going to continue to look at that passport. You continue to say to yourself, man, there's so many places I could go. And once you have that mindset, then you're going to get on something like Expedia.com or something else like that and start looking up like, well, I got this passport. Who can I get in with this passport, right?
I'll call tomorrow because I'm going to have content trips.
You said what?
I'm going to have content trips coming up. So
I like that.
Tomorrow, we're going to try.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I even cut you off.
No. I mean, I love that, right? I love the fact that, you are thinking in like, yo, I'm going to have content trips. Like, I'm going to go away with content and shoot, whole trips with it. That has been the game changer from anybody I know who's been successful. They've gotten out of their space, which means they've gotten out of their head, and then they've gotten out of their community. Because whatever you learn while you're out there, you can bring those things back to your community that can be an advantage to your community. That's the reason why, the Europeans and other things have been able to do what they've done, because they've gone to these places, they found this information, and they bring it back to their community to make the community successful. Same thing with any other demographic. They go out of their area and they go and bring information back. Go out there and bring some information back. Bring some information back to your community that you can use, that you can take advantage of, that may be knowledge, that may be helpful to you in your community, or even to yourself, as to, oh my God, there's so much more out there that I can accomplish. So the first thing I would say is go get your passport, and then get on something like I said, Expedia.com or Booking.com, and start thinking about, what does it take for me to get to this place that I've never been to before? Because once you do that, that's fear. It's going to take a lot of things. You can get a lot of fears. Fear of what's going to happen. Fear of getting on that plane, potentially, if you've never been on a plane. Fear of going to another country, of them speaking another language. It'll be a lot of fears that you'll get over, and then you'll realize, man, if I can do this, I probably can go out there and do any other thing that I want to. It'll just change your mindset. It changed my mindset. It changed yours, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
It just changes who you are inside and how big the world is and how much opportunity.
I went to Colombia and realized, we ain't got it that bad.
Right. That's what it was for you, right?
It was a beautiful place. It was so beautiful. Right. It was at one point I actually recorded it when I realized, I started off in Medellin, and I realized, this is literally in a bowl. It's it's in a bottom. It's in a crater.
It is.
And
it's in the valley.
And I was because I looking at architecture.
Yeah.
So I was looking at all the houses, and they just stacked on top of each other
on the mountain.
Yeah, and I can just appreciate bro, that joint started from down here.
Yes.
And then some civilization just kept moving up.
Yeah.
And they just moved from the bottom, literally from the mud, from the
valley. Yeah.
And I ain't got no complaints.
And can you imagine what made them stop there? You know what always injured me, these places I go, you end up in somewhere and you be like, yo, of all the places, why did this family, because it had to be in a family to stop. Yeah. Why did they decide to stop right here in this area?
They was probably the best humans because they had enough.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that changed your mindset. You feel like it's enough, right? Like you feel like things are not different.
Like
Again,
I said, like if I can get me 200,000 and buy that plot, and then another 500 and build that infrastructure there, that little land, and do it, I would do that.
again, you say you would do that.
I am going to do it. Actually, I am going to do it. That's what studio space is going to become.
And here's also where it is. You can do that right now in Africa for about right on the beachfront for about $4,000.
Yeah, you're right. $4,000.
That's a beachfront that you can look at your beachfront from here to Ghana. I think it's about 8 hours, right? 8-hour trip. You could literally have a beachfront property sitting there for maybe roughly $10,000, right? You could say that up. That has a beachfront property, your own studio, and now you shooting things in Africa.
You think I could build it for $6,000?
You could probably build it for $6,000.
The whole thing.
A steel unit or use it one of containers. Like they bro.
I have like the container look.
Oh my God, they got these container looks out there. Man, they are absolutely awesome. So you buy the plot of land. Can you imagine looking out on the beach every single day?
$10,000 in a month, man.
You understand what I'm saying?
I can do that in a month.
Think about how your mind going. You understand? So you can say you can do it there in Colombia, or you can do it right in Africa right now today. You understand?
I mean, I wasn't using. I was saying Colombia. I was just using that as an example.
But you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like you said.
I mean, for me, I just got to visit. I just got to visit Colombia.
That's what it is.
But so we could just keep talking. I want you to look at the camera, just shout your stuff out.
So
where they can find
Kurody.com. So KURUDY.com. We will be launching in June. So by the time you guys get this, it'll probably be out already. I'm taking a trip there. I've already been to Africa several times, but I'm taking a trip specifically to Ghana to prove out our model. So we've already got a group of friends together, including this guy, to invest, crowdfund a property that we're buying. We're going to continue to do this across Africa countries, and then also invest in real estate-backed businesses. So please continue to follow us. You can also follow me at Will Return Us. So Will _return _us on Instagram, YouTube, where I'll be doing interviews with companies that are in Africa who are shaping Africa. And then companies that you'll be able to crowdfund. We'll also bring up real estate that you'll be able to crowdfund on our new upcoming platform. So appreciate this platform, Jamar, for letting me come on, man. I'm really excited about this. Can't wait for you to see it. You've been my man, 50 grand.
50 grand, man, for a long time. The mic, I don't care.
I hit the mic. And I can't wait to see all the things. Like, I mean, you should be Tyler Perry in Africa. You know what I mean?
We're gonna work. I gotta write some scripts first.
Real talk.
Let's take one final. You drank all your.
I did. I drank all mine. I poured some in the cup.
I was literally thinking this as you was talking earlier.
I put some drink in the cup.
I can't drink anymore.
I can't drink anymore.
I can't drink. I can't do it.
Put some drink in the cup.
I can't drink. But I'm gonna down this with my boy. Just
We say stuff like Merlin.
Or brother or mother. It is nice. It's by Ironclad Inn, a brewery in Fredericksburg, Virginia. It is really nice, but
I appreciate you, bro. I love you, bro.
I love you too, my guy. All right, yeah, that's the show. We're gonna go ahead and end it, everybody. Make sure you guys check us out. This is Let's Get Real Podcast with Jamar Denzel. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, on YouTube, and I just love you guys. This community that we're building. We got Deontay Vision Art Productions behind the camera. We're gonna see if he stick around on the production team. Check him out on the behind the scenes of everything.
I'm taking him to Africa too.
Let's do it. We got Africa in June. Then I'm going back to Colombia in July. Let's do it. We're gonna go on a whole bunch of things. We're going to Rome. Oh, what parts of Africa we going? Let's go on a tour. What part of Africa? We're gonna talk about this on all.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna check you guys out later. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow.
Thank you.
Thank you.